Welcome to Voice from the Real World. Today we're going to look at a passage from Course in Miracles, Blue Book. It's found in chapter 3, verse 7. And it's an amazing consolidation of what perception is and how it works. So let's review. We know that in the heavenly thought, which the Course calls knowledge, there's only oneness. And, into eternity, where all is one, crept a tiny mad idea. So, in order to block knowledge, or being, we threw that away, or appeared to throw that away, and we chose perception. Perception is what we find ourselves in this world. Even in the real world, you're still in perception. It's a corrected perception, but nevertheless, it's perception. So let's read. The statement, God created man in His own image and likeness, needs reinterpretation. Image can be understood as thought, and likeness as of a like quality. God did create spirit in His own thought and of a quality like to His own. There is nothing else. Okay. That's knowledge. That's the heavenly thought. That is where we're returning to. That is where the Holy Spirit takes us to the real world, which is a corrected perception, and from there can lead us back to an awareness of the heavenly thought, the heavenly mind. The mind, spirit is already created. Mind is a creator. Mind is, as the terms talk about, is an activating agent of spirit. Remember, Jesus says in the Course, I was a man, but I remembered spirit. Okay? He was returning to his heavenly mind. Okay, so now it talks about perception. So what happens? So we block off our awareness of heaven, of knowledge, of being, of timelessness, of eternity, and we substitute it. We block the knowledge of that, and we substitute it with perception. So we chose perception. Okay, perception. Big P. Okay, how does perception work? This tells you exactly how it works. First of all, it is impossible without a belief in more and less. The Son wanted to be special. He asked Father for specialness. Well, in the heavenly mind, in heaven, all the sons are equal. They all have everything. We all have everything. And we have everything that the Father has. It's all one. It's all in one thought. So if you wanted to be special, and you're the Son of God, and you want to be a Son of God, and you want to be special, you have to say, well, make me special, Father. Give me more or give me less so that I'm different than my brothers. Well, you can't have more than everything, so you would have to have less. Perception is a choice of less. It's a choice of lack. Okay. Now, it talks about more or less, but really it's more or less lack. So in this thought, we will have all kinds of differentiations, more or less. So we're going to have the positive and negative, always opposites, always differentiation, so that we can't remember the sameness or the oneness of heaven. Okay, it is a belief. You have to believe this. You have to use faith, belief, and belief to even believe that you could be in a world of less and in a world of differentiation, aspects, intervals, those kind of things. Okay? At every level, that's another thing. Levels. So we have levels in here. Somewhere in this unholy instant, if you're in it, is the richest guy in the world and the poorest guy in the world. The happiest guy in the world and the saddest guy in the world. Okay? And in between are all kinds of different levels. Okay? The prettiest woman and the ugliest woman. And the levels in between. Okay? And all this perception does is try to manage that and make it comfortable enough to stay in it and reject knowledge. Okay? Perception is a continual process of accepting and rejecting. Okay, so what are we going to do here? We're going to accept or reject. We're in a process right now within the United States of having an election coming up. People are accepting or rejecting candidates. Okay? So it's always accepting or rejecting. Another thing we do to make this livable, if you want to use that word, or manageable, is we organize and reorganize. Organize and reorganize. We're constantly shifting, constantly changing to manage this and make it livable, make it comfortable. I can accept that. Okay. Oh man, I can't go for that. Reject. Or I can handle a little bit, but not a lot. Okay. Now, shifting and changing. Shift and change. And remember, none of this goes on in knowledge. Can't even be thought of within the heavenly mind. A heavenly mind doesn't do this. A fully right-minded person in the real world doesn't do that. Okay. They are at the very lawns of heaven, and their mind is so close to knowledge that the Course says it's easily translated into knowledge. All right, now, how do we do all this? Evaluation, judgment. Judgment, the big J, judgment. I'll accept or reject. How do I know what I'll do that? I'm going to evaluate it, and I'm going to judge it. Okay? It says, evaluation is an essential part of perception because judgments are necessary in order to select. So you accept or reject, there's your selection. Okay? All right. So, when we moved from knowledge to this, to perception, the Course in common sense tells us we have to have something to perceive, a world, and we have to have something to perceive with, a body. Okay. I have now fenced myself off from everything else in the heavenly thought, and I appear to be a separate entity called Rich, with a personality, and I'm in a time and space right here in this room in front of this camera right now, or appear to be. Okay. I'm perceiving. Well, how am I perceiving? The 5 physical senses, or how many senses you believe there are, is sensing that those things around me. What is that doing? It's doing this right here. All the time, every second, it's doing nothing but that. In uncorrected perception, it's doing nothing but that. Now, make a little space here. In order to perceive, we have to have something to perceive and something to perceive with. So we put our little body over here, and it sees, and it believes, and it has faith in this body, this mind. So it decides, okay, what do I need so that I can continue to block this off? Okay. What kind of life, magical, fake ghost life, do I need to block off my true life, my true identity? And what do I need to have the witnesses out here? Okay, I'm seeing witnesses. Witnesses to my thought. Okay. I've already decided what I'm going to see. Now my body looks out here and it sees X. And it starts right here. Evaluation and judgment. Accept or reject. Am I going to be the victimizer, or am I going to be the victim today? Whichever best suits my initial thought, which I have now also forgotten that I've done, and this is how it works. Constant judgment. So that's why we accept the Holy Spirit's judgment. We start letting Him do all this for us. And what He does is the Holy Spirit's judgment brings us back to no judgment at all. We begin to translate back to heaven, back to a heavenly mindset. Right-mindedness ultimately leads us to the one-mindedness of heaven, where there is no right or wrong. There is no accept or reject. It's all extension and love and creation, and a continual sharing of the love that we are. Okay, we'll catch you next time.
For more information about Voice from the Real World, please feel free to visit our website at www.voicefromtherealworld.org or send us an email at voicefromtherealworld@yahoo.com. Thank you for watching.